All right, so you know what the listing basics are, you know how the outline goes. What is the first step? How do we actually go about tackling a product listing? Where to get started and how to do it? And what you're seeing on your screen right here is an article that I read a few years ago, basically right as I started getting into this business. Now it says November 18th, 2013, so it was written a while back, but when I read this article, it really sort of changed my outlook and gave me some great ideas on how I can do things in my own business. And this guy right here is known as the Amazon Whisperer. You don't really hear much about him anymore. He got some hype when this article first came out, but he's pretty much died off since then. But this guy built a $100 million Amazon business. Yeah, 100 million. And the main thing that he credited his success to was the fact that he had a team of people that were dedicated to analyzing all of the top reviews, 5-star reviews, and 1-star reviews of all of his competitors. He would then analyze, take that information, take all the aspects and features that people loved about a given product, and then all the aspects people hated, and then use that information, use the actual real market information to construct his own products. He then knew what features to include in his own products that he was sourcing, which ones to leave out, how to write his listing copywriting based on the reviews, because the market was straight up telling him what they wanted and what they did not want in a given product. And just for a simple example of what I'm talking about, somewhere in this article, I can't really remember, but they used the example of this Bluetooth speaker where if he saw in a negative review, if he was looking to source a Bluetooth speaker, he thought that was going to be a good product opportunity, he would go to all of the top-selling Bluetooth speakers, he'd analyze their reviews, and let's say he stumbled across a 1-star review of a Bluetooth speaker, and in the review, the person had said, "Man, I wish this speaker was waterproof." Well, he would then write that down. He would know for a fact that he wanted his Bluetooth speaker to be waterproof. And then he would advertise that everywhere he could inside of his actual listing. And that's just one simple example. And most of the time, there's 2, 3, 4, sometimes even 5 areas of important things like that, important features that you can actually, you don't have to reinvent the wheel or come up with the stuff on your own, because luckily with Amazon's review system, the actual people, the actual buyers of Amazon products tell us exactly what they want and exactly what they don't want. So it makes our job easy. You might feel overwhelmed, and you should feel overwhelmed when you're trying to actually come up with all this stuff on your own, because it's not easy just to manufacture features and ideas in your head about a product, especially about a product that you don't even know anything about, or a niche that you don't know anything about, or a target market demographic that you don't know anything about. Analyzing their reviews inside and out solve all of those problems for us. We can enter any new niche, any new product category, and become experts within 30 minutes to an hour of just simply analyzing all the reviews and seeing what type of language the people are conveying to us in those reviews. So I hope that's a big tip for you guys. I know it sounds pretty simple on the surface, but it's something that drastically changed the way I view everything. And this is still the approach that I like to take today because it has the most effective results for me. So we're going to go ahead and get into that. What you're seeing right here is sort of my formula that I use to create product listings. And yes, you will also be getting this Google Sheet for free. This is a copywriting and listing creation formula that I developed. And just one thing I want you to keep in mind, because I know you're probably thinking, well, what about keywords? Well, keywords are going to come secondarily. We're not even going to focus any attention on keywords at this moment. We're only focused on creating our title, bullets, and description right now, with 0 keyword consideration, believe it or not. And the reason I do that is because, as I said in the prior video, our Amazon listings are first and foremost supposed to be catered toward our buyers, which are human beings, right? Keywords are for the Amazon algorithm so we can get ranked and indexed and all that stuff. But what actually converts sales to real human beings is copywriting and selling and all that. That's why I always write my listings first with 0 keyword consideration, and then after I'm very, very happy with the listing, I then go back and weave in all of my keywords where they may fit. So the end result ends up being a highly optimized listing from a consumer human being standpoint, as well as the Amazon algorithm, but it still flows smoothly, and to the eye, you cannot tell that I was forced feeding keywords into the listing. I hope that makes sense. Maybe I didn't do a good job of explaining that, but I think it'll all make sense once we actually go through the real examples here. So let's go over this sheet real quick. Crafting a professional and unique product listing that drives sales. Understand the market and niche inside and out. Figure out what people like, what they don't like in advance. Address common questions, concerns head on in your listing, turning negatives into positives. Tell real stories and make things personal. Make your main image truly stand out from the pack to grab the click. Okay? And these are kind of the steps that I actually go through. So the beauty with Amazon is that we're able to enter brand new markets and niches with absolutely 0 prior knowledge and become a master within days. How do we do that? Well, by leveraging the proof and data from our competitors. If you already know that your top 3 competitors are selling $30,000 of a product per month, wouldn't you assume there are probably common elements and themes inside each of those listings that buyers seem to be attracted to, right? Their products are obviously popular in some way. Why is that? Well, we need to do a deep dive into the best 5-star reviews of our competitors, as well as the worst 1-star reviews. Make a list of all the best things people love about the product and a separate list of all the things people hate about the product. You'll notice that there will be 5 to 10 positives, 5 to 10 negatives that are undeniable and consistent throughout each bestseller. Congrats, you literally now know exactly what the market wants before you even source. Now, we've now figured that out. Best of all, we know the exact language of the market, the customer who actually buys our products. So we then take all the worst and most disliked features from the other listings and weave them in as positives. So that, and here's an example, just sort of threw this together. Sticking to our camping tent, and I know I've been doing a workout glove in the previous examples, and we're going to get back to that, but I want to show you this example. So for just a camping tent, okay, a common complaint may be, this tent has cheap, flimsy stakes that don't hold up. That means in your listing that you'll be sure to say, our tent includes dual reinforced stakes that can stand up during a hurricane force winds. You kind of see where I'm going with this? We take what is not liked in our competitors and we spin that into a positive in our own listing. So again, another great tactic here. Tell meaningful and relatable stories. Remember that time in your childhood when your dad took you out camping for the first time? You probably thought it was the coolest thing on the planet. You can relive that nostalgic feeling over and over again with our tent because it's family friendly and can easily fit 3 people. Again, it's a bad example, but you get the point. I threw this together. I'm sure you could come up with something better. Click-through rate. Now, what is CTR or click-through rate? Well, it's huge on Amazon, and it's when someone is scrolling through the page, you need what's called a pattern interrupt. That makes them stop and say, hey, this looks unique. This is referred to as capturing the click, and a simple way to have 100% unique and eye-catching main image. So, yeah, just to clarify that. What we're trying to do is when someone scrolls down and they're scrolling down the top 16 camping tents, how is our main image going to stand out from the other 15 so the customer actually clicks on ours and ignores theirs? That's really, really huge on Amazon. That's called CTR, click-through rate, capturing the click. And the best way to achieve a high CTR is to have a really, really good main image. That's basically what this bullet point right here is saying. So we need to really focus on our main image. Well, you may think, well, this is all great information and all, but how are we going to do this in the real world? Well, we are going to do that right now. All right, so as you can see, the page here looks a little different now. That's because I've already gone and done the work, because otherwise it would take a while. It's somewhat of a lengthy process, but it's something you can bang out within an hour or two, even if you're brand new. And it's highly well worth your time. It's time well spent. So here we go. I went and analyzed all the best-selling camping tents. Okay, I typed in camping tent to Amazon right here. I used my Helium 10 X-ray because, again, the listings you see here are not always going to be the actual best sellers. You understand? In order to actually dial in what the best sellers are, it's much easier to use a tool such as the Helium 10 X-ray that actually displays us and tells us exactly how many units and the revenue that they're bringing in. So I ran the X-ray on camping tent. Obviously you can see it gets a ton of search traffic. It's 90,000 a month, which is crazy. Obviously a very, very competitive product. And yeah, I went through all the top guys here based on, I sorted it by revenue again, and analyzed their reviews from the 5 stars to the 1 stars. And this was the result that I got. Okay, so the positives, and I'm not going to read through all of them because you can see this and you're going to get the sheet like I said, so I'm not going to bore you with that. But again, all these positives and all these negatives, this is essentially our framework right here for our own listing. This is what we already know what are the topics for our bullet points are going to be. Our images, what are we going to really advertise in our listing? Well, we're going to highlight all the positives and we're going to make sure to include these in our listing. And again, we're talking from a listing standpoint as well as product design standpoint. And we're also going to make sure that we spin some of these negatives into positives. Make sure that some of the negatives in the reviews are not going to be a reality in our product, as compared to them. So how can we make sense of this all? Well, you see this tab down here, write listing first and then weave in the keywords, right? So we need to write the listing first. And here's the top features of your competitors and the top complaints and dislikes of your competitors' products. You need to make a full list, 2 separate lists. I've done that here already, but you need to do that for your product. Complete these lists first, and then they will serve as your base for writing your title, bullets, and description. Write your listing first with 0 keyword consideration again. Good copywriting is meant to convert a sale to a human being, not a robot. Once you're happy with the listing, then go back and weave in all of your single words from before. This is easily done using Helium 10 scribbles. We'll get into that later. What I want to show you here is just how I went and transformed this Coleman tent listing from its boring, lackluster self into what it really should be. So I literally went and did a listing makeover of this product that you can see here. So this is the original Coleman tent product listing. Okay. Coleman, it's it's a bad title. Look at the bullet points. There's very few words. It's very corporate-esque, right? There's no selling going on or anything of that nature because they're a big brand. The images are extremely boring. Just a million different angles of the same product. And what would it look like if I were going out there and sourcing a camping tent? Well, let's take a look. New listing based on our tactics from the previous tab. Well, this is what my Coleman tent listing would look like. Little better, right? And by the way, all of our major keywords are already weaved into this listing, but it's kind of tough to even tell because it was first written with the consumer's mind at heart, not the keyword driven Amazon algorithm. You'll have all the time in the world to look this over and read the bullet points, read the title, and see what I've done. But, just take a moment to observe the differences. What have I done exactly? Well, I've directly spoken to our target customer, giving them exactly what they want when it comes to a camping tent. Not only is this listing going to convert at a high rate, but our most important keywords are also weaved in. Again, what is our final result? Steroid-induced listing that is both optimized for human beings and the A9 algorithm. This is exactly what we've gone out and done. Literally gone out and just completely revamped this Coleman 10 listing using my formula, using my criteria, and I'm pretty pleased with the final result. Again, I can do this pretty fast now because I've done this so many times over again. This might take you a while, and it should, to be honest with you. It should take you a while. Again, you have about 30 days downtime from when you place your order to where you can just focus extremely hard on this. You'll be just fine. It's not as daunting as it sounds, especially when you have this course as well as these free Google Sheets that I'm going to share. Hope that was kind of a mind blower for you. I hope that was helpful. And I will get into more stuff, and I will get into keyword research in the next video. Thanks.